Warning: this video contains discussions of sensitive topics, including abuse and violence, which may be distressing to some viewers. Viewers' discretion is strongly advised. Please be aware that certain details presented in this video are based on publicly available information and may not fully reflect actual events. A 22-year-old woman types her final Facebook post. "My daughter will never need for anything. Can't wait to celebrate her first Thanksgiving tomorrow." 14 hours later, she would be dead, stabbed so many times the medical examiner would stop counting at 58. But here's what nobody knew that night. While she was dying, a GPS ankle monitor 3 miles away was recording everything. And that device? It belonged to the man who killed her. This isn't just another true crime story. This is about how technology meant to prevent gun violence accidentally solved a murder, how a mother's intuition led to a locked bedroom door, and how social media posts became evidence of premeditated rage. Welcome to Forensic True Crime Stories, where we share true crime stories based on real events that deserve to be told. Kindly support us by subscribing to this channel and turn on the notification bell icon so you never miss a new story.
Victim of an apparent homicide in Lowell has been identified by police as 22-year-old Dejah Jenkins-Minus of Boston. It's a case where police have not yet made an arrest. And as WBZ's Tiffany Chan tells us, her friends and family gathered tonight to remember her.
Before we talk about how the victim died, you need to know how she lived. Because she wasn't just a victim. She wasn't just a statistic. She was a daughter, a friend, a new mother, and a young woman with her whole life ahead of her. Dejah Jenkins-Minus was born in February 1999 in Boston, Massachusetts. Her mother, Latoya Minus, and her father, Lamont Jenkins, raised her in a close-knit family where love wasn't just spoken, it was lived. Friends and family described Dejah with the same words over and over. Always smiling, outgoing, loving, uplifting. That wasn't just polite obituary language. That was who she was, the kind of person who walked into a room and made it brighter. The kind of friend who checked in on you without being asked. The kind of daughter who called her mom just to say, "I love you." Dejah wasn't just kind. She was driven. She ended her high school years as an academic scholar, graduating with honors while staying active in her community. She loved cheerleading, not just for the sport, but for the teamwork, the energy, the way it made people feel when they watched. She was the kind of cheerleader who made you believe your team could win, even when they were down by 20. Her friend Devin Holliday, who grew up with Dejah, told reporters after her death, she was goal-driven, hard-working, the kind of person who would do anything to take care of her mother and her child and herself. The world just lost that amazing person.
On the count of 3, we're gonna release these balloons. 1, 2,
and say Deja when y'all releasing them.
3.
Deja! 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 See, mine's gone. Deja! There we go. Oh, man. See y'all.
But out of everything Dejah accomplished, there was one role she wanted more than any other. She wanted to be a mother. And on September 20th, 2021, that dream came true. Dejah Jenkins-Minus, 8 pounds, 2 ounces. Perfect, healthy, beautiful. Dejah was 22 years old, and from the moment she held that baby, her entire world shifted. Friends said she couldn't stop talking about Dejah, couldn't stop posting photos, couldn't stop planning for her daughter's future. She told her family, "I want the world for her. I want her to have every opportunity. I want her to never need for anything." And she meant it. Being a single mother at 22 isn't easy. Dejah lived with her mother, Latoya, in Boston. She was navigating sleepless nights, diaper changes, feeding schedules, all while trying to figure out her relationship with Dejah's father. Leonard Robinson, the on-again, off-again boyfriend, the father who was present, but not really present, the man who posted couple photos on social media, but questioned paternity in private.
Some shit, you feel me? and shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to open my own motherfucking salon slash.
Deja tried to make it work because she wanted Dailani to have both parents. She wanted her daughter to grow up in a stable, loving home. But stability? That was never really an option with Leonard. In the weeks leading up to Thanksgiving 2021, Deja was excited. This would be Dailani's first Thanksgiving, her first holiday, the first time the whole family would gather around the baby and celebrate. On Wednesday, November 24th, the day before Thanksgiving, Deja posted on Facebook, "My daughter will never need for anything. Can't wait to celebrate her first Thanksgiving tomorrow." It was a declaration, a promise, a mother's fierce love for her child. What Deja didn't know was that Leonard had been posting too. And his posts, they weren't about love. They were about anger, doubt, control, and in less than 24 hours, that anger would explode. So here's what you need to understand. Deja wasn't naive. She wasn't reckless. She wasn't ignoring red flags because she was blind. She was doing what millions of women do every single day. She was trying to co-parent with a man who was unpredictable. She was trying to give her daughter a father. She was trying to keep the peace. And that decision to go to his house on Thanksgiving morning with their 2-month-old baby would cost her everything. Here's what I want you to think about. We always say, why didn't she just leave? But Deja wasn't living with Leonard. She had her own space, her own support system. She was strong, independent, and educated. So why did she go to his house that night? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Because this is the question that haunts every domestic violence case. It's not, why didn't she leave? It's, why did he kill her? And to understand that, we need to talk about Leonard Robinson and the rage that was building online for everyone to see.
He know I'm ballin'. Yeah, that nigga know I'm ballin'. Had them niggas sick like COVID. Bitches get the cold shoulder. She know she ain't sleeping over. Bitch, pick up your phone. I already know you creeping over. Come and fuck with Rose 100 rounds before the weekend over. How that pussy bustin' like a super soaker. I be in my thoughts a lot. Fucking all these thoughts a lot. Shooting at the ops a lot. Caught him in the pocket spot. Had to switch the pole. How much?
Leonard D. Robinson, 22 years old, Lowell, Massachusetts, aspiring rapper who went by the name Pole Boy D. Rose. On the surface, he looked like a guy trying to make it, posting music videos, talking about his dreams, showing off his relationship with Deja. But beneath that surface, there was something else brewing. Leonard wasn't just a rapper with a dream. He was a defendant with pending gun charges in Boston. Serious charges, the kind that comes with conditions, GPS ankle monitor, 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. curfew, stay in certain geographic areas. Don't violate the terms or go back to jail. Leonard Robinson was already in the system, already being watched, already one mistake away from prison. And then Dailani was born, September 20th, 2021. At first, Leonard seemed happy, proud even. He posted photos with the baby, called himself daddy, talked about his daughter like he loved her. But something shifted. Week 1 after birth, sweet posts, couple photos, everything looked normal. Week 4, Leonard's tone changed. Cryptic posts about loyalty and truth, vague complaints about people lying to him. Week 8, the post got specific, accusatory, angry. Days before Thanksgiving, Leonard posted a long rant on Facebook. He questioned whether Dailani was actually his daughter. Said Deja had been with other men when she got pregnant. Said he'd wanted a DNA test from the beginning, but she refused. He wrote that he wasn't going to play daddy or play house if the baby wasn't his. He said Deja was messy, petty, not ready for a kid. And he said he was mad at her. Mad. Now, paternity doubt is a real thing. It happens. And it's painful for everyone involved. But here's what's important. The way Leonard expressed that doubt wasn't private. It wasn't a conversation between two adults trying to work things out. It was public. It was aggressive. It was designed to humiliate Deja in front of everyone they knew. Deja responded, but not with anger, with dignity. She posted, "A guy that's not loyal to his kid is loyal to no one." Another post, I got this. Mommy mode unlocked. And then, the day before Thanksgiving. My daughter will never need for anything. Can't wait to celebrate her first Thanksgiving tomorrow. She was defiant. She was protective. She was done arguing with him publicly. But Leonard, he wasn't done. In cases of domestic violence homicide, there's often a pattern, a buildup, a series of escalations that, in hindsight, look obvious. Public humiliation, accusations of infidelity, questions about paternity, rage expressed online. These aren't just dramas. These are red flags. These are warnings. And everyone who knew Leonard and Deja saw these posts. Family, friends, mutual acquaintances. But nobody thought it would lead to murder. Because who does? On Thanksgiving morning, November 25th, 2021, at 3 a.m., Dejah Jenkins-Minus drove from Boston to Lowell with her 2-month-old daughter. She was going to Leonard's house. Maybe to talk. Maybe to let him see the baby. Maybe to try one more time to make co-parenting work. A neighbor across the street, Roger Rondeau, saw her arrive. Saw her carrying Delaney in a baby carrier. Saw her knock on the door. Saw Leonard let her in. And then the door closed. Dejah Jenkins-Minus would never walk out of that house alive. If you're still watching this, it means you care about what happened to Deja. It means you're invested in this story. And honestly, that matters. Every like on this video tells YouTube that stories like this deserve to be seen, that victims like Deja deserve to be remembered, that justice matters. So if you agree, hit that like button right now. Not for me, for her, for every woman who's been in a volatile relationship and didn't make it out, and share this video. Because someone in your life might need to hear this story. Someone might recognize the warning signs in their own relationship. All right, now, Thanksgiving Day. November 25th, 2021, 3 a.m. Deja enters Leonard's house on Lewland Street in Lowell, Massachusetts. She's carrying her baby, a diaper bag, everything a mother needs for a few hours away from home. The door closes behind her, and for the next several hours, silence. Back in Boston, Deja's family is preparing for Thanksgiving. Her mother, Dejah is cooking, setting the table, expecting her daughter and granddaughter to arrive for dinner. This was supposed to be Delaney's first Thanksgiving, the first holiday where the whole family gathered around the baby and celebrated. Dejah had been talking about it for weeks. Morning passes, no call from Deja, no text. Noon, still nothing. By 2 p.m., Dejah is calling. The phone rings and goes to voicemail. By 4 p.m., she's calling Leonard. No answer there either. By 6 p.m., she knows something is wrong. She can feel it. That mother's intuition. That pit in your stomach that screams, this isn't right. Later, Dejah would tell reporters, I knew something was wrong. I didn't know what, but I knew something was wrong. Meanwhile, across the street from Leonard's house, Roger Rondeau is going about his Thanksgiving. Around midday, he happens to look out his window, and he sees something strange. Leonard Robinson is getting into a car. Not his own car. Deja's car. He drives away. Rondeau thinks nothing of it, assumes Deja is still inside, maybe sleeping, maybe taking care of the baby. He doesn't know that at that exact moment, Dejah Jenkins-Minus is already dead. Here's what prosecutors would later reveal. Leonard's GPS ankle monitor, the one he was required to wear for those gun charges, it was recording his movements that entire day. The data showed he was at the Lewland Street house from 3 a.m. until approximately 2 p.m. He never left during those 11 hours. Then the signal starts moving. He's driving, heading toward Boston, and at 4:56 p.m. on Thanksgiving Day, the GPS signal cuts out completely. Leonard Robinson cut off his court-ordered ankle monitor. Why would an innocent man do that? By 10 p.m. on Thanksgiving night, Dejah had made a decision. She's not waiting until morning. She's not hoping for a call. She's not convincing herself everything's fine. She opens a phone tracking app, the kind that lets you see where a family member's phone is located. And Deja's phone? It's pinging at an address in Lowell. Leonard's address. Dejah gets in her car, and she calls the Lowell Police Department. I need a welfare check. My daughter went to this address with her baby, and she hasn't come back. She's not answering her phone. Something's wrong. Friday morning, November 26th, the day after Thanksgiving. Lowell police arrive at the Luland Street house at 10:45 a.m. LaToya's already there. She's been pounding on doors, peering in windows, hearing her daughter's phone ringing inside the house, but no one's answering. The police assess the situation, lock doors, no movement inside, a missing woman and her infant child, possible emergency. A family member makes a decision. He climbs through a window. What he finds inside, no family should ever have to see. Before we continue, I need to say something. Paternity doubt is real. It's painful, and it deserves to be addressed with honesty and DNA tests and adult conversations. But here's what it doesn't justify: violence, rage, murder. So if you believe that questioning whether a baby is yours does not give you the right to harm the mother, hit that subscribe button, because this channel stands firmly against anyone who uses doubt as an excuse for violence. If you believe domestic abusers deserve accountability, subscribe. If you believe victims deserve justice, subscribe. And if you think Leonard Robinson's anger was never ever an excuse for what happened next, you know what to do. Now, the discovery. The house is dark, quiet. There's a smell. Something's wrong. The family member who climbed through the window calls out for Deja. Deja! Deja! Nothing. He moves through the house, kitchen, living room, bathroom. Then he reaches the back bedroom. The door is locked. From the inside, he pounds on it. Deja! Are you in there? Silence. He kicks the door. Once. Twice. The frame splinters. The lock gives way, and that's when he sees her. Dejah Jenkins-Minus is lying on the floor next to an air mattress. Face down, motionless. There's blood. On the floor, on the walls, on the air mattress. The family member screams for the police. Lowell police officers enter. EMS arrives within minutes. But it's too late. There's nothing they can do. Deja is pronounced dead at the scene. The chief medical examiner conducted an autopsy. The findings were horrific. Dejah Jenkins-Minus died of multiple sharp force injuries. In other words, she was stabbed to death. But it wasn't just a few stab wounds. It was 58. 58 stab wounds to her body. Her neck was fractured, broken. There were defensive wounds on both of her hands and on her arms. Evidence that she fought back, that she tried to protect herself. Injuries to her face, her torso, her back, the front and rear of her neck. This wasn't just murder. This was a massacre. In forensic psychology, there's a term for this. It's called overkill. Overkill means the violence goes far beyond what's necessary to kill someone. It's excessive. It's personal. It's emotional. It's usually committed by someone who knew the victim intimately, someone with deep-seated rage, someone who wanted to not just end a life, but to destroy it. 58 stab wounds is overkill. A broken neck after being stabbed dozens of times? That's overkill. This wasn't about silencing Deja. This was about punishing her. Police searched the residence. They photographed the scene. Document the blood spatter patterns. Collect evidence. Near Deja's body, they find a knife. A large kitchen knife covered in blood. Investigators believe this is the murder weapon. On Saturday, November 27th, they return with a search warrant. They seize the knife and other items from the scene. Later, forensic analysis would confirm the knife was consistent with the murder weapon. But there's one more thing police need to find. Baby Delaney. Officers search the house room by room, and in another part of the residence, they find her, 2 months old, unharmed, sleeping. Her crib had been moved, placed in a different room, away from the violence. Someone, whether it was Leonard before the attack or during or after, no one knows. Someone moved that baby to safety, and she slept through her mother's murder. Lowell Police and the Middlesex District Attorney's Office issue a joint statement. The death of Dejah Jenkins-Minus has been ruled a homicide by the Chief Medical Examiner. The investigation is ongoing. We do not believe this was a random act. Translation? They know who did it, and they're building a case. The police have a crime scene. They have a murder weapon. They have a missing suspect. But they also have something Leonard Robinson didn't know they had. Evidence that would place him at the scene during the exact time window when Deja was killed. Evidence that would track his every movement. Evidence he couldn't lie about or explain away. the GPS ankle monitor, and the data it recorded. It was about to crack this case wide open. Here's what I need to know from you. 58 stab wounds, a broken neck, a 2-month-old baby in the next room. Is there any scenario, any possible explanation where this is anything other than premeditated murder? I've seen people in the comments of other videos try to justify violence like this. Maybe he was mentally ill. Maybe he just snapped. Maybe she provoked him. So here's your chance. If you think there's a legitimate defense for what Leonard did, go to the comments right now and explain it. I'm genuinely asking, what's the defense here? But if you're sitting there thinking, there is no defense, this is evil, then you already know what this channel stands for. We expose evil, we document it, we make sure victims get their stories told. So which side are you on? Saturday, November 27th, 2021, the day after Dejah's body is discovered, Lowell Police and the Middlesex District Attorney's Office launch a full homicide investigation. They have a victim, they have a crime scene, they have physical evidence, but they need a suspect. And more importantly, they need proof. Here's what investigators have so far. A murder weapon, the knife recovered from the scene, a crime scene soaked in blood, spatter patterns consistent with a prolonged, violent attack, witness testimony, the neighbor Roger Rondeau, who saw Dejah arrive at 3 a.m. with her baby, never saw her leave, but saw Leonard drive away in her car. And one more thing, the GPS data. Remember, Leonard Robinson was already in the criminal justice system. He had pending gun charges in Boston. As a condition of his release, he was required to wear a GPS ankle monitor. That monitor tracked his location 24/7. Every movement, every address, every violation of his curfew or geographic restrictions. And on Thanksgiving Day, it recorded everything. Here's what the data shows. Thursday, November 25th, 2021, 2:00 a.m. Leonard is at his residence on Lewland Street, Lowell. 3:01 a.m. Signal confirms he's still there. This is when Dejah arrives. 4:00 a.m. Still at the residence. 6:00 a.m. Still there. 10:01 a.m. Still there. 2:00 p.m. The GPS signal starts moving. He's in a vehicle, heading south toward Boston. 3:30 p.m. Signal places him in Boston. 4:56 p.m. The GPS signal cuts out completely. The ankle monitor has been removed. Leonard Robinson was in that house during the entire time window when Dejah was murdered. And then he fled. And then he cut off his court-ordered monitoring device. That's not the behavior of an innocent man. That's consciousness of guilt. That's evidence of flight. In criminal law, there are terms for this. Consciousness of guilt means behavior that suggests the defendant knows they did something wrong. Fleeing the scene, destroying evidence, cutting off a GPS monitor. Evidence of flight can be used by prosecutors to argue that the defendant knew they were guilty and tried to escape accountability. Leonard Robinson gave them both. While investigators are building their case, Dejah's family is falling apart. On Saturday evening, November 27th, dozens of friends and relatives gathered outside Dejah's childhood home in Boston for a candlelight vigil. They block off a portion of the street. They light candles. They hold photos of Dejah smiling, holding baby Dailani. People cry, people hug, people share memories. She was so outgoing. She was always smiling. She was the most loving person I knew. Dejah's mother, Dejah-Minus, appears on local news. Her eyes are swollen from crying. Her voice cracks as she speaks.
Just come forward. I'm not angry. I'm more mad that they won't come forward.
I'm not angry. I'm more mad that they won't come forward. Just come forward. She's still holding out hope that whoever did this will turn themselves in, that there's some shred of humanity left. But she also knows the truth. I'm lost. I'm hurt. I'm numb. And I'm angry. I want justice for my baby and my grandbaby. Monday, November 29th, 2021. 4 days after the murder. Lowell police have identified Leonard Robinson as their primary suspect. They've obtained an arrest warrant for first-degree murder. Intelligence indicates he's at a residence in Boston. Officers prepare to move in. Multiple units. Tactical approach. They're not taking any chances. A woman inside the house starts filming on her phone. You can hear voices in the background. Then suddenly police burst through the door. Leonard's voice, calm down, he's good, he's good. But there's no calming down. Officers move quickly. They place Leonard in handcuffs. Don't be touching me, he says. But there's no real fight. He knows why they're there. He knows it's over. Leonard D. Robinson is arrested and charged with the murder of Dejah Jenkins-Minus. Minutes after the arrest, LaToya Minus posts on Facebook, "They got this bastard. Justice is on the way. I want to thank everyone for all the help, the love, the support." Relief, grief, anger, all at once. She has her daughter's killer in custody, but she doesn't have her daughter back. The next morning, Leonard Robinson would stand before a judge, and prosecutors would lay out their case in open court for the first time. 58 stab wounds, a fractured neck, GPS data, social media posts establishing motive. The evidence was overwhelming. But Leonard, he had something to say too. And what came out of his mouth in that courtroom, it would tell you everything you need to know about this man. Tuesday, November 30th, 2021, Lowell District Court. Leonard D. Robinson stands before a judge. He's wearing an orange jumpsuit. His hands are cuffed in front of him. The courtroom is packed. Media, family, observers. And in the gallery, quietly crying, is LaToya Minus, the woman who tracked her daughter's phone, who demanded a welfare check, who kicked in a door to find her child's body. She's here to look her daughter's killer in the eye. The prosecutor, Assistant District Attorney Thomas Brandt, stands to present the Commonwealth's case. Your Honor, the evidence in this case is overwhelming. The defendant and the victim, Dejah Jenkins-Minus, had an on-again, off-again relationship. They share a 2-month-old daughter, Delaney. In the days leading up to Thanksgiving, the defendant posted extensively on social media questioning whether the child was his. He expressed anger toward Ms. Jenkins-Minus. He stated he wanted a DNA test and that he was mad at her. On Thanksgiving morning, at approximately 3 a.m., a neighbor witnessed Ms. Jenkins-Minus arrive at the defendant's residence on Luland Street with her infant daughter. The defendant allowed her inside. Ms. Jenkins-Minus was never seen leaving that residence alive. Later that day, the same neighbor observed the defendant driving Ms. Jenkins-Minus's vehicle away from the residence. On Friday morning, November 26th, police conducted a welfare check at the defendant's home. Inside a locked bedroom, they discovered Ms. Jenkins-Minus's body. The medical examiner's autopsy revealed the following. Ms. Jenkins-Minus sustained 58 stab wounds to her body. 58. Her neck was fractured. She had defensive wounds on both hands and arms, indicating she fought for her life. Injuries were documented on her face, torso, back and neck. A knife was recovered near her body and has been identified as consistent with the murder weapon. Furthermore, Your Honor, the defendant was under GPS monitoring at the time of this crime due to pending gun charges in Suffolk County. That GPS data confirms the defendant was at the Luland Street residence from 3 a.m. through approximately 2 p.m. on November 25th. At 4:56 p.m. that same day, the defendant removed his court-ordered ankle monitor. He cut it off. This demonstrates consciousness of guilt and clear evidence of flight. Your Honor, this was a brutal, calculated, and personal murder committed in a rage against the mother of the defendant's child. The Commonwealth requests the defendant be held without bail. Leonard's court-appointed attorney, George Murphy, rises slowly. Your Honor, my client pleads not guilty to these charges. We acknowledge the tragic loss of Ms. Jenkins-Minus and extend our condolences to her family. However, the evidence at this stage is... The judge cuts him off. Counselor, GPS data placing your client at the scene during the time of the murder is not ambiguous. 58 stab wounds speaks to the nature of this crime, and cutting off a monitoring device after a homicide is textbook consciousness of guilt. The judge pauses, looks down at the file, then looks directly at Leonard. Mr. Robinson, you are charged with murder in the first degree. Based on the evidence presented by the Commonwealth, the court finds probable cause. You are ordered held without bail pending trial. A probable cause hearing is scheduled for December 30th. Next case. As the guards move to escort Leonard out of the courtroom, he turns back toward the judge, and he says something that shocks everyone in the room. I'm going to be in danger in there. At Middlesex House of Corrections. I'm going to be in danger. He's worried about his own safety. Meanwhile, Dejah's family is sitting 10 feet away, destroyed by grief. The judge doesn't respond. The guards lead Leonard out of the courtroom. He's worried about himself. Dejah Jenkins-Minus is dead, stabbed 58 times. Her 2-month-old daughter is motherless, and Leonard Robinson is worried about his own safety. Outside the courthouse, Latoya Minus speaks to reporters. Her voice is steady, but you can hear the exhaustion, the heartbreak. They got him. Justice is coming. I want to thank everyone for the support, the love, the prayers. She pauses, wipes her eyes. But nothing brings my baby back. Nothing gives Delaney her mother. So we keep fighting. We keep showing up until there's a verdict. The arraignment is over. Leonard Robinson is behind bars. The legal process is moving forward. But for Dejah's family, the hardest work is just beginning. Raising a baby without her mother, keeping Dejah's memory alive, making sure Delaney knows she was loved. And that starts with a promise Dejah made the day before she died. My daughter will never need for anything. Her family intends to keep that promise. All right, we're almost at the end of this story. And I know some of you have watched this entire video, felt the weight of it, maybe even teared up, and you still haven't subscribed. I'm genuinely curious. Why not? Go to the comments right now and tell me why. Be honest. What's holding you back? Because here's the reality. When Leonard's trial happens, when there's a verdict, when justice is finally served for Dejah, you won't see that update unless you're subscribed. The algorithm won't show it to you. I won't randomly pop up in your feed. So if you care about what happens next in this case, subscribe. In the days after Dejah's murder, her family did what families always do in the face of unthinkable tragedy. They came together. Dejah's great aunt, Teresa Menace Santana, created a GoFundMe campaign. It's called Delaney's Bright Future Trust Fund. The description reads, Dejah was a bright spirit who loved her daughter more than anything. We want to ensure Delaney has every opportunity despite this tragic loss. The funds will go toward her education, activities, emotional support, and everything she needs to live a full and joyful life. Within weeks, the fund raised thousands of dollars. Strangers donated, friends donated. People who never knew Dejah but were moved by her story, they donated. Because when a life is taken, the community can't bring it back, but they can protect what's left behind. Today, Delaney is being raised by her grandmother, Latoya Minus, as a single grandmother, working full-time, grieving her daughter while raising her granddaughter. In 2023, local news reported that community volunteers have been organizing free birthday parties for children who lost a parent to violence. Delaney attended one of these parties. She was celebrated. She was loved. She was surrounded by people who refused to let her mother's memory fade. The volunteers call their initiative Bringing Happiness to Children. And that's exactly what Dejah would have wanted. Remember that last post? My daughter will never need for anything. Can't wait to celebrate her first Thanksgiving tomorrow. Dejah wanted to give Delaney the world. She wanted to be a great mother. She wanted her daughter to have every opportunity. She didn't get to see that first Thanksgiving, but Delaney did, with her grandmother, with family, with love, and she'll keep celebrating, because that's what her mother would have wanted. But there's one thing Delaney doesn't have yet: justice. As I'm recording this, Leonard D. Robinson's trial has not taken place. He's been held without bail since November 30th, 2021, but there's been no trial date announced, no plea deal reported, no verdict. The case is still pending in Middlesex Superior Court, and Dejah's family is still waiting. The evidence against Leonard is overwhelming. Any reasonable jury would convict, but the wheels of justice turn slowly. And for families like Latoya's, every day without a verdict is another day without closure. This case is about more than just Leonard and Dejah. It's about a pattern we see over and over again in domestic violence homicides, relationship instability, a new baby, which is the highest risk period for escalation, public displays of anger and control, accusations meant to isolate and humiliate the victim, and then explosive, lethal violence. Dejah's story fits that pattern perfectly, and she's not alone. Every day in the United States, 3 women are murdered by intimate partners. 3. Every single day. Dejah Jenkins-Minus is one of them, and her story matters. For Dejah's family, I'm so sorry for your loss. I hope you get the justice you're fighting for. And I hope Deilani grows up knowing how deeply, how fiercely, how completely her mother loved her. For everyone else watching this, go hug someone you love. Call your mom. Text your sister. Check in on your friends. Ask the hard questions. Are you safe? Are you happy? Do you need help? Because life is fragile, and sometimes the people we love are in danger, and they won't tell us until it's too late. Stay when Leonard's trial happens. I'll be covering it. Every detail, every piece of evidence, every testimony, every moment. And when the verdict comes down, you'll know, but only if you're subscribed. So here's the final question. Do you believe Leonard Robinson should spend the rest of his life in prison for what he did to Dejah? If your answer is yes, hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on notifications so you don't miss the trial coverage when it happens. Like this video so YouTube knows stories like this need to be told, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Because somewhere out there, there's another Dejah, another woman in a volatile relationship, another person ignoring red flags, and maybe, just maybe, this story will save them. Thanks for watching till the end, and until the next video, stay safe.